Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Tuttle '09, and I am coming at you guys with my labor and delivery story. Um, he'll be 3 weeks tomorrow, so I've been pretty busy and I've been dying to get on here and make some videos, but sleep deprivation has gotten the best of me. Anyways, let me just get right into my labor and delivery story. On the 15th of October, um, my aunt came to visit me that morning, and I think she came from North Carolina to New England to visit, because my husband's been traveling out of town and stuff for work. So I really didn't want to be home by myself, considering I had been on bed rest for like 6 weeks and all that other stuff. Um, so yeah, so she came. She arrived about 10 o'clock in the morning, and when she came, I had to, set up the nursery so that she'd have somewhere to sleep. And I live in a townhouse that has 3 levels, so up and down the stairs, trying to help her with her bag, 'cause she's in her 60s. Here I am, 8 months, 8.5 months pregnant, supposed to be on bed rest, already 4 centimeters dilated. So anyways, up and down the stairs, setting up the bed and everything for her, and then in the nursery, and then we went shopping. Went and walked around Walmart, and everyone knows Walmart's huge. Um, so we went and picked up some items and went and got some groceries and you know all that jazz, and came home and was in and out the basement looking for other stuff. And finally I was like, I'm kind of tired. Let me go and rest. By this time it was probably like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was feeling like a little discomfort, which I was feeling for a while just from walking around and stuff anyways. Um, so then I went to lay down, and I just didn't feel like laying down, so I came downstairs to chat with my aunt. And then this is about 7 o'clock, so I'm sitting on the couch and we're talking or whatever. Next thing I know, I feel like some wetness, and I'm like, oh great. And I had been spotting like on and off for the last like 3 days or so. So I was like, let me go to the bathroom and see what's going on or whatever. And sure enough, I was spotting some more, and I was having some discomfort. So I was telling her, my shorts are wet, I'm not feeling good, I'm going to go take a shower, just see what's going on. And she's like, no, I think you should call the doctors and maybe go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go to the hospital. Like, I've been feeling this discomfort for a while, so I don't want to go to the hospital and they send me home. So with enough of her begging and pleading and prodding, I was like, let me just call the doctors. So I called the doctors, and they said, well, I guess you can come in. So I go in, and they check me at 5 centimeters. So she's like, well, let me see if, the doctor wants to keep you or not. I'm like, okay, if I'm 5 centimeters, why wouldn't they want to keep me? But anyways, I'm like, whatever. So about an hour passes, and because when you go in, you have to go into like the emergency room part, which is mostly for pregnancy, so that way you don't have the long wait in the regular emergency room. So they decide to keep me. I get upstairs, and I'm still in pain, and I'm bleeding still. I'm like really bleeding now. My water hadn't broken or anything. So I get upstairs, and I'm like, I want my epidural right now, like right now. I wasn't even really in that much pain. It was painful, but it wasn't like that bad. But me and pain are not best friends, so I wanted my epidural before I even got there, with the whole pain thing and everything. So I get my epidural, and then after I get my epidural, they check me, and I'm 7 centimeters. Mind you, my husband is still out of town. I had my aunt call my best friend, for my best friend to call my husband to tell him to come home. He was about 2 hours away, training for his work. And because my husband we only have cell phones. I have a local number, and he has a long distance number from where we used to live. In the hospital, you can only call local numbers, and my cell phone didn't have any reception. So I had to go through this whole thing to get my friend to call my husband. And of course, he gives him the message that they're going to keep me at the hospital, but I'll call him when I need him to leave and to come to the hospital. By this time, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, it was about 9 or 10, because I got to the hospital at 8:30. And so anyways, I'm like, okay, so I get upstairs, I'm waiting, I'm telling them, I'm waiting on my husband to come, all this stuff. He should be here in a couple hours. And the doctor's like, oh, okay, you know, whatever, whatever. So she's like, when she checked me, she's like, you're 7 centimeters. She's like, maybe I should break your water. She's like, because it's like bulging. It's like right there. It's ready to be broken. And I'm like, no, don't break my water. Matter of fact, don't touch me anymore. Don't check me anymore. I'm waiting for my husband. Once my husband gets here, I don't care what you guys do. So she's like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. She was really nice about that. And so a couple hours pass or whatever, and I'm just resting, and like my husband, I haven't heard from him or anything, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. So 3 hours passed, and I still hadn't heard from him, and he still wasn't there. And from the hospital to where he was only 2 hours. Um, so I called him. By this time, it was like midnight, I think. Yeah, it was about midnight, and I finally had got reception on my phone upstairs in my room, and he picks up the phone. He's like, hello, and I'm like, you know, he sounded kind of sleepy, and I'm like, where are you at? He's like, I'm in bed. I'm like, you're in bed? What do you mean you're in bed? And he's like, oh, your friend called and said that you would call me back when you were ready for me to leave and to come to the hospital or whatever. And I'm like, men, right? My best friend's a guy, and it's special. Guys are special sometimes. Like, if I'm in the hospital and they're going to keep me, which means I'm going to have the baby sooner or later, why would you just not come to the hospital? That just didn't make sense to me. So anyways, he's like, okay, I'm on my way, I'm on my way. I'm like, yeah, because the baby will be here in a few hours. So, finally he leaves or whatever, and then the doctor comes in again. She's like, where's your husband? And I'm like, apparently he got the message all mixed up, and she said the same thing I said, men, right? So she's like, okay, well, I need to check you again. And I'm like, no, I don't want you checking me again. I'm waiting for my husband to come. She's like, okay, well, I'll give you another hour. So another hour goes by, and she comes in again. She's like, well, I have to break your water. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. It's been an hour. He should be here at least in another hour, and I shouldn't give birth that fast, right? I'm a first-time mom, so usually they say it takes a long time. So she breaks my water, and that was that. I guess she said I had like meconium or something in the water, but at the end it wasn't a big deal or whatever. So still sitting there relaxing with my pain button, which I loved. And so finally, about an hour after that, my husband comes, and you know, still just relaxing, whatever. Was glad he got there. And so this is about 3 o'clock in the morning, and just relaxing. That's it. So a few hours pass, and I'm like, I feel like a ball or something, and like down there, like it feels like something's there, and it's weird feeling, and it literally felt like I never felt any pressure. I never felt pressure to push or anything. So I'm like paging the nurse. I'm like, do you think you can get the doctor? I think I feel a head, and I need someone to come and check me. So she's like, okay. So she comes in, and you know, I don't think the nurses can check you because the nurse never checked me. And so I was telling her what I was feeling or whatever, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna page the doctor to come and check you. Kid you not, 45 minutes passed. And I'm like, seriously, like, I know what I feel. And she's like, well, do you feel pressure? I'm like, no, I don't feel any pressure. I just feel a head, like, pressing down my birth canal, and it feels weird. So 45 minutes later, the doctor finally comes, and she checks. Like, she couldn't even really check because the head was almost out. And she's like, oh, my God, I can't believe you're, like, already fully dilated. Like, the head's, like, almost out. And I'm like, duh, I only been calling y'all for, like, almost an hour now. So they set everything up or whatever, and 3 pushes and he was out. It hurt. It did. No lie, it hurt. And some people say with the epidural, like, you don't really feel pain. I felt pain. It wasn't like bad. Like, I wasn't screaming. I never screamed and hollered like you hear some women. Oh, you hear all that screaming. No, I didn't do all that. But so basically, that was my labor and delivery story. And then, like, the head doctor came in, and she asked the delivery doctor, she's like, she delivered pretty quickly. Like, are you sure you checked her? And she's like, yeah, I checked her, you know. And I'm looking at the lady like, she's lying. She didn't check me from 7 centimeters to now. And when I finally called him, I had to wait an hour. I mean, I understand that there's other people delivering and stuff, but seriously, if I'm telling you the head's coming out or I feel it, why wouldn't you come? Anywho, that's my labor and delivery story. So, thanks for watching. Bye.